Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the SeekOut 101 webinar. We're going to be going through the basics today. Just to get started, this is our core training, or 101, where we're going to be going over the basic functionalities of SeekOut to get started. Any questions that you have, please feel free to chime in the chat or in the Q&A section. If I'm going too fast and you want me to repeat something, feel free to let me know. If you would like me to elaborate on anything that wasn't clear the first time, then just go ahead and ask away. Or if there's other features that you'd like to discuss, just go ahead and chime in and we'll cover that for you. Great. So if you haven't already, go ahead and log into your SeekOut account and we'll go through step by step and show you how to use this functionality. You should be seeing my screen. So when you first log in, you're going to go ahead and see the dashboard. On this page, you're going to have access to your recent searches, your recent insights reports, projects, your sourcing activity for the week, and any messaging campaigns if you integrate with our messaging. At the top right of the page, you're going to see a preview of how many credits you have available for the month. By default, I believe we have 500 contact credits per user to use every single month. And the date that your credits reset will show right below the amount. So for me, for example, my credits reset on the 11th of each month, but yours may be a different date. If you'd like to know when they reset, this is where you can see that. Contact credits are used to find candidates' personal emails and phone numbers. And each click would use 1 credit regardless of how many emails or phone numbers we get back. So if we don't find any emails or phone numbers, it does not use a credit at all. But if we find multiple, let's say we find 5 emails for 1 candidate, it would only use 1 credit. Any unused credits do not roll over, so you want to make sure that you're getting the best use out of these each month. So use all 500 that you've got before your reset date. On the 11th for me, I'll reset back to 500. Export credits. This is for when you want to export candidates over to an Excel or CSV file. This is great for sharing with hiring managers. And it costs 1 export credit per candidate, usually with a limit of 5,000 per month. There's not much risk of running out. So feel free to use those as liberally as you'd like. At the top right corner of the screen, you'll get access to a drop-down menu by clicking on your initials. In case you want to get an update on how many credits you have remaining, you can just click on the drop-down menu, which is available on any page within the SeekOut app. So you don't always have to come back to the dashboard to see this information. Whether you're on the dashboard, AI matching, search, insights, projects, or messaging, you'll always have access to this drop-down to see a live updated view of your contact credits for the month. You also get additional options here to see your search history. We save your search history for about a week, so you never lose your work. If you end up running a complicated Boolean string and want to go back and see what you were doing, you can always go right back to your search history by clicking here. We have a different user interface that you can activate by toggling dark mode on or off. Access to our help center, which is consistently updated by our dedicated tech writer. Highly recommend checking out the help center for tips and tricks on how to be more fluent in SeekOut. And our website, the Chrome extension, if you'd like to install that, that works and helps to cross-collaborate between SeekOut and LinkedIn. So if you're on a LinkedIn public profile, you can just click on our Chrome extension to get their contact information or add them to a project seamlessly. And at the bottom right corner of the screen, you're going to have access to our live chat. So our usually reply time during normal business hours is under 5 minutes. We're available from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, and then again from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Pacific. So there's 20 hours out of the 24-hour day that we're available to chat. Simply just click send us a message, and someone will be with you shortly to help. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and dive right into the search where we'll be spending most of our time today. SeekOut has 642 million candidates globally that we can source across. We separate these based on continent. So if you're sourcing in North America, that's selected by default first. But then if you'd like to source in other regions, we are a global sourcing platform. So you could select Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, South America, and even Antarctica to search across those different regions for candidates anywhere in the world. Keep in mind that SeekOut should be considered as a candidate search engine. These candidates are not creating profiles on SeekOut. They're creating profiles on LinkedIn, Stack Overflow, GitHub, and a multitude of other social media like Twitter, Pinterest, Clout, Facebook, LinkedIn, Quora, YouTube. And we take any publicly available information about these candidates and consolidate it into a single profile that's easy to view and easy to search using our keywords, Boolean, power filters, or filters, which we'll get into more detail today. All of this information is consolidated from all of these different sites. However, you can click on any of these links to go directly to their profiles on those respective websites. In addition to cross-referencing with all of these different sources of information for candidate data, we also provide one click to get email or get phone number. Each of these will use just one credit if we're able to deliver any information back. Great. And the way this works is we partner with 7 different contact finding solutions. So similar to searching and finding AJ on a multitude of different websites, we can also find contact information across multiple different sources on the open web and deliver them all right here to you and order them based on which one is likely to be the most accurate. So we believe that this one that's listed first is going to be the correct email for AJ. And then if this one is not correct, we have a second available here that you can use. If you want to provide feedback on the contact information, you can simply just click on any of these and report it as a bad address and then move on to the next one. This will send the feedback directly to our product team to continue to improve and update, and as we evaluate different vendors of contact information. If there's any discrepancies in the profiles, you can click on this feedback button here, where you can report either incorrect email, phone, if a profile's been outdated or it's duplicate, mismatch, etc. And so these go, again, directly to the product team. This is the best way to provide that feedback to get that in front of the people who are going to be able to make a difference. Great. First is if we wanted to search for a specific role, let's say we're looking for a data analyst. We could source in the keywords. If I type in data analyst and hit enter, this is going to be a very basic keyword search where we'll look for the word data and the word analyst anywhere in the profile. So you're going to see some candidates that are currently a data analyst, maybe have it in their past title, maybe they have it in their education or in their GitHub or expert information. You'll get to just see data analyst together or separate throughout the profile. If you're familiar with Boolean, a space will assume an and, so data analyst would be the exact same thing as saying data and analyst, and will return the exact same number of results. So if I'm not using ands in my strings, it's just because it's optional. You're more than welcome to use an and, but it's not required. We also support basic Boolean. So let's say we wanted to make this a phrase instead. We could say data analyst. And now instead of looking for the word data and the word analyst, now we're going to get much less results and look for the phrase data analyst. We also support basic like or statements. So if we wanted to say data analysis, you could do this, and then, for example, put in software as a service, SaaS. So we have an unlimited number of keywords that are available in the keyword and Boolean box. Feel free to, you can do 1,000 or even more. If you have a whole competitor list that you'd like to add in here as a large OR statement, you can copy and paste in here. This is one of the best Boolean capabilities here in SeekOut compared to other platforms that I've seen. If you'd like to see the entire list of Boolean capabilities that are available, I would recommend clicking on Advanced Search Tips. This will open up our Help Center, where you can see all the basic Boolean here. But then in addition, and we're not going to get into this too much, but as you scroll down, you're going to see some of our more advanced Boolean filters. So if you wanted to, instead of looking for data analyst, just like across the entire profile, you could specify by using these field names that you want to look for it in a specific section. So if I wanted to find someone that had a current title of data analyst, I could simply refer to this list of field names, paste it in front of my string, and then now I'll look for data analyst or data analysis only in the current title section, for example. There's also a link to even more advanced Boolean. So I'm not sure, I know there's a lot of people on the call today. So if you really like Boolean and want to learn some of our advanced stuff that a lot of these aren't available on any other platform, you can start to educate yourself on some of the proximity search, wildcard, fuzzy search, preferred or nice to have skills, or even boosting certain terms to give them more importance over others. This is going to be part of more of our advanced training session. So I'm not going to cover this stuff today, but just wanted to show you how easily you can find this. Again, just click on Advanced Search Tips. At the bottom of this article, click on Advanced Boolean Search with SeekOut, and you'll get to see all the very cool functionality for those Boolean experts out there who want to test these things out. All right. So starting back from scratch, let's say instead of looking in the keyword section, we wanted to use our filters. This is going to be commonly used across other platforms you may be familiar with. So instead of using like current title Boolean string, I could simply scroll down and I'll see that current title is an available option here. I could instead just look for data analyst in here. If I type part of the word, I'm going to get a drop-down menu that appears and use SeekOut's data to help me guide my search. This is my preferred method of searching in SeekOut. I can see data analyst, senior, data analyst, intern. I get a whole wide variety without having to make a large OR statement or think too hard for myself of what type of terms are already recognized by our system. So I'll just put in data analyst in the current title. You'll see many other similar titles appear below. If you have include similar checked, these are automatically going to be added and we'll look for data analyst or similar. Or you can come through and say, I want a senior person, but I'm not looking for a lead and I'm not looking for clinical. So you can just toggle with the check mark to say, yes, I want them. The X means no, this is not a fit for what I'm sourcing for today, and easily narrow down your results by toggling left and right on these different buttons. You can also see a wide variety of different filters available as I scroll through, searching by current company, location filters. These are all examples of listed filters where we know that Ruben, for example, is located in San Francisco because he tells us that he's located in San Francisco, California. Same thing with state and country. We can get this transcribed directly from the profile. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. We understand that they said it on their profile, so we can easily show that they're in those locations. But then what about things like diversity tag? We just got ranked #1 diversity sourcing platform in the world. We are the best among any sourcing platform as far as diversity is concerned. But not every candidate is saying publicly what their diverse background is. So this is an example of not a listed filter, but an inferred filter. We can infer based on many data points within a profile, person's diverse background. So for example, if we wanted to narrow down our data analyst search to just find those potentially female candidates, we can just click on female, and I know that I'm going to find about 59,197 candidates with the number that's next to each one of these filters. And this is going to be a 90% certainty. It's not perfect. It's not 100%. We want these to be inclusive rather than exclusive. So we want to not be too restrictive and include anyone that should be included. So if you're seeing 1 in 10 that aren't a match, it's actually by design. If you select multiple, so let's say we want to find our female veterans that are also in data analysis across North America, then I can click on female and veteran, and I'll get a new option that appears. This is part of the additional customization that you get as part of being a SeekOut customer, is you can specify whether or not you want both tags. So right now, I'm looking at 544 candidates who are both more likely to be female and more likely to be a veteran. You're going to see like US Navy or other like US Navy, veteran, Air Force. You're going to see that all these candidates fit the criteria that we're looking for. Now, what if I wanted to do an open diversity search and say, I'm not just looking for females that are veterans, I want to find either or. I could toggle this to the left and say I want to find either female or veteran. Or as I always prefer and recommend is just to go ahead and start your search by clicking all the diversity tags, toggle this to an or statement and say I want to find any one of these, and start your search here to help increase our diversity hiring globally as we are looking to make a change as far as getting more diverse candidates into open roles. So this is a great way to start your search and find, build out your diverse pipeline of candidates. Perfect. Any questions so far? Feel free to chime in the chat or the Q&A. I'll be happy to answer them. And as we move through these different filters, you'll see a wide variety of other ones. If you want me to describe any of these in more details, just chime in. If you want to review them all on your own account, my list is going to look different than yours because I customized it. So scroll down to the bottom of your filters list, click on View All Filters, and you're going to see 2 columns. One is going to say My Filters, and this is the list of available filters that you have already activated in order of what you have it here. So if I wanted to change the order, let's say maybe I want to move diversity tag all the way to the top. We're really pushing hard for diversity hiring this quarter and for next year. So I want to make sure that diversity is top of mind for me. So I want to move diversity to the top of my filters list so it shows up first every time. And then if you don't have these filters on this list, you can use the right column, which says All Filters. If it has a blue check mark, that means it's on your list. If we scroll down and see that they're not checked, that means it's not on your list. So you can toggle them on or off and then reorder them and customize your experience for every future search that you're conducting in SeekOut. If you're not seeing it, there's many times where I scroll through and my eyes gloss over what I was looking for. I can just search for it. Maybe I'm searching for industry. I can use our search convenient search bar at the top, or I'm looking for skills or groups. I can just start to type in here. I don't even have to type the full word. I can just type part of it and I'll see what recommendations populate below. You'll just want to make sure that you hit save and then it'll lock in your changes. And now as I scroll to the top of the page again, we'll see that diversity is now my first available filter right at the top of the page. So we'll go ahead and click United States. And now we're looking at candidates that have a current title of either data analyst or senior data analyst or one of these other similar ones in the US. We could continue to narrow down our search using other filters or keywords and Boolean in conjunction with each other. You don't have to do either or. You can do them all simultaneously. But my preferred method is to click on People Insights. This is hands down my favorite feature in SeekOut. When I click on People Insights, it's going to keep my search, my current search, that I just conducted. And it's going to give me a full market overview of where are the available candidates located. So for example, the most candidates are going to be in New York City, followed by number 2, San Francisco Bay Area, number 3, Chicago. If I want to see the full list of the top 24 cities, I can click on show more and I'll see the percent and the number of each. I could click on any of these graphs that I'm going to show you in the insights to narrow down my candidate pool. This is incredibly convenient. I love this feature the most just because I don't like having to type all the time, large Boolean statements. Maybe I just want to come in here and use SeekOut's data to help me guide my search and understand where the talent pool is. And I can just click and narrow down that way. In addition to the basics like location and company and title, you also get your diversity breakdown here. So you can see what percentage of the talent pool fits each diverse background. Past companies, you don't want to forget about this. Sometimes it's a better list of companies to source from than current company, because this is where your competitors sourced from to get them in their current data analyst position. So you may want to look at these past companies as well as part of a target sourcing list. Not everybody makes it to the bottom of this insights report, but there's a lot of great information here. So I'm just going to slowly scroll through so you can see some examples of the information that we can get. Maybe I'll just click on this one. Let's say we're looking for someone with a bachelor's degree. If I click on bachelor's, you'll notice that the insights report loaded again and updated. Now, bachelor's degree was added to my search. My candidate pool dropped a little bit. Keep scrolling through. I can see industry and filter by that with a click of a button. I can look for just my enterprise level companies by clicking greater than 2,000. And then once you get past all these, we'll get down to some really interesting insights about what are the top certifications of data analysts in the United States. Looks like the number 1 is SAS Certified Base Programmer for SAS 9, then Tableau, then R Programming. Other bilingual top languages, Spanish, Hindi, Mandarin are going to be in the top after English. Volunteering efforts that these candidates are interested in. Also, top groups. This one is really helpful. I can see that of my pool of 29,000 candidates that are data analysts with a bachelor's degree that work for a company with more than 2,000 employees, this is the number 1 group they're a part of. If you share a group with a candidate, you don't even have to have LinkedIn Recruiter, and you don't even have to be connected with them. You can message anyone that you share a group with. So after you go and get the email, get the phone number, send them an email, send a text, make a phone call. If they don't get back to you, join the group, Big Data and Analytics. Start reaching out to people that way. Click show more and see all the different groups that are very popular among data analysis candidates right here. Many of these I probably never would have thought of on my own. So again, using SeekOut's data to guide your search is going to be incredibly helpful. But you don't only have to use this to guide your search. You can also use this information to be more of a talent advisor for your hiring manager. So as I scroll back up to the top, and I encourage you to do this, if you decide to use this insights information to share with a hiring manager, SeekOut makes it incredibly simple to do. So click on export. While you can download it to your computer and email it as an attachment, I think it's a bit easier and more modern to just send a link. So I recommend viewing in Excel online. It'll convert this insights report that helped us guide our search into a multi-tabbed Excel spreadsheet. So for example, if I wanted to share this, I could just copy and paste the URL. And I'll actually just share this in the chat. This is just an Excel file. So even for those of you on the call that may not have a SeekOut license, it doesn't matter. This is just an Excel file. And it's great for intake meetings. It's also great for if a position's been open for far too long and we've identified working on the front lines that we're looking for a purple squirrel, that maybe what our hiring manager is looking for doesn't actually exist, or it's a very rare, unique skill set. You can use this information to help build a case to make changes to help fill that job faster. So for example, for a company, I can see how many work at each company, what the percentage is, And I can go through this list first and say, of these companies, which ones are going to be the best to target first? Are there any companies on this list that we do not want to hire from? Then I can go ahead and go back to my search and click the X button next to the company. Like so, I could say, I want to remove Bloomberg. I could just click the X and then no Bloomberg candidates will show up in my search anymore. This is a great way to help speed up the time to hire right up front on the intake meeting. Going through the list of available titles, past companies, degrees, industries, diversity breakdown. If we wanted to target a diverse candidate, we can show what percentage of the pool fits each category. And looks like we got a question. Will salaries be part of the talent pool analysis at some point? It may be in the future. Right now, we do offer salary as a button right here. Sometimes you'll see a number on the candidate, 85K for Abhishek. You can always click on this button and go directly to Google, Glassdoor, or Paysa to see median salary that's self-reported and available on the open web. However, it is not currently available as part of the insights. I do think it's a great suggestion though, Francois. Great question. All right, so that's the insights report. A lot of great information here. Now we can use that to go back and narrow down our search even further using the filters or the Boolean or the keywords. One more thing I'd like to cover on this search page is that, well, you can use keywords, Boolean, advanced Boolean by following the advanced search tips. We also have power filters, which are pre-built searches. So this is something that's unique to SeekOut. Let's say I want to look for someone that's in data science. Then I can just type in data. I can see that SeekOut already has prepared data science for those candidates with expertise in data analysis, regression, etc. I could just click one button, and this is perfect for brand new sources and recruiters that may not know all the different ways of saying the same thing or how to build a large complex Boolean string or to run a search. You could just guide your brand new sourcer into the power filters and just click on data science, for example. And now we'll find those data scientists very quickly with one click of a button. You can search the power filters here or use our different categories for looking for those with a clearance, for those are more likely to have US work authorization. The way this one works, for example, if I click on this, it will look at the country of origin of each candidate and see how long it takes to even be eligible for a green card or citizenship. Each country's is different. And so we'll look at those who are even eligible based on how long they've been here or what college they attended, things like that. Any data point in the profile to help us determine, again, with a 90% certainty of what their type of current US work authorization status is. All right. Now, once we get a pool of candidates that we like, so let's say I'm going to go back to People Insights. I want to find data scientists, US work authorization. There's also another great one that's, where is it? Likely open to new roles. I could find those that may be more likely to switch and are open to new opportunities. I can see the insights for all those candidates. Maybe I'm just looking in the Boston area. And Wayfair is a great company. We want to see all those data scientists at Wayfair. Very quickly, didn't type anything. I just clicked on a couple of buttons here and then went to Insights and clicked on Boston and Wayfair. And now I've got a hot list of candidates ready to go. very quickly and easily. The next step would be just to review the information of each candidate, make sure that they're a fit, someone that we want to reach out to. Amri Tanshu looks great. Trinad also looks like a great candidate, currently at Wayfair in Boston. Curating the next opportunity. Yeah, this person looks like he's on the job market. Let's go ahead and add him. Data scientist. We can go one by one and select candidates that look like they're a good fit. Maybe we don't want the director, the manager's okay. And then we can see that we can add them to a project here. Our projects are going to be a separate tab from the search. This is where you get to save all of your jobs. So for example, for this one, I can say data scientist, Boston, Massachusetts. I didn't have the project already created, so I just created a new one at the same time as adding them. If I toggle over to projects, I'll see my newly created project up at the top with the 6 candidates in there. And now I can conveniently get in, click get their email by using 1 credit, get their phone number. And you'll notice a spinning wheel. This is because we're not looking at a stale database. We're going out live and pinging these 7 different contact finding solutions and delivering the information back. In addition to the email and phone number, we also include the social links, like I mentioned, and then you can click on any of these to go through and reach out or go directly to their social link here. In addition to saving the candidates here that we selected, we also automatically save the searches you use to find these candidates. So you never lose your work. You can always go right back to your search exactly where you left off by just clicking on the search used to find the candidates. And now we're right back at our existing search, and I can go back and look at the rest of the candidates and continue to add them to my project and get their contact information and reach out. All right. Now let's say that Mark Carroll is a great fit for my position, and it went through all the interviews. We extended an offer, and he ended up taking another opportunity. And now we're back at square one. We have to find more candidates. We know Mark is a great fit. We already got an offer out. So we need to find more like Mark. What do we do? Go into the project, click on more, and clone Mark. Now, just by clicking on clone, SeekOut's going to be able to take Mark's profile, any of the information we can find across all of his profiles online, take out the keywords, and find other candidates that look like they're a great fit. Since Mark was in Boston, we're going to be looking in the Boston area, but you can always change that. You can take this out and put whatever location is going to be most relevant. So we want to find candidates in Houston, Texas. We could apply and change the location there. It'll run that clone again in the new location and start delivering candidates that are now in the location that we selected, but all are still fitting the like data science that Mark had. If we wanted to change the search completely, I would just click on change, and you can see what type of titles. So like maybe we want to take director out and we wanted to add manager, data science, and analytics. You'll see all kinds of other recommended titles below that are relevant that you can click and add, or you can type and add other titles that you would consider. You can add required skills. These are going to greatly narrow down your search and make them mandatory. But if you put things in optional skills, it'll highlight those that have that experience and bring them to the top of the results, but it won't eliminate anybody that doesn't have these. You can come in and toggle the years of experience. Maybe we're looking for 5 to 20 plus, maybe 8. And then you get access to all of our other filters here in the clone feature. So if you wanted to add and search by any of these, you can add any of them and search by those as well. If we wanted to put a degree, diversity, title, etc. Once we've narrowed it down to exactly what we're looking for, we can just click next, go right back to the clones. We'll again parse out all the information and start delivering candidates that look like they're a fitting match. The second step in AI matching is actually pretty cool. We have a smart feature where as you click accept and reject, we're going to learn your preference on each candidate. So if Winston Tang, data science manager at Accenture, looks like a great fit, I'm going to go ahead and click accept. It's going to automatically add Winston to this new project called Clones of Mark Carroll. And you'll see the candidate got added into this project here. Yang, data science manager, great fit. Now we have 2 candidates in the project. Let's see, director of data science and analytics at NOV. Looks like an amazing candidate, but unfortunately, we can't hire from oil and gas. So if I click reject, if I only click reject, it's just gonna not add the candidates to the project, and then we can move on to the next person. However, to use the machine learning functionality of AI matching, you can give a reason they're not a fit and help SeekOut learn how to find better candidates moving forward for this project. So for example, I said that NOV was not a great company to source from for this role. I can just say company was not a fit, and now we won't find anyone from NOV anymore. Maybe Kyle's a good fit, Mohammed. If we select reject, then we can specify either the title, company, location, skills. When you click skills, you can say they're missing a required skill and you can make this a new mandatory skill, or you can say they have a skill that makes them not so great of a fit and add this to an exclusion. So you can add extra customization by clicking on the skills reason for why they're not a fit, or just leave it blank or hit other if you don't want to affect the future results. Maybe this person just interviewed before and you don't want them in your project, but other people like them would be good. So just keep that in mind when you're using these buttons, to use it with a little air on caution that you don't want to say title if you really do want someone that's data science manager. Once you've gone through the first 5 matches, you'll get an option to get more. You can do 10, 25, 50, or 100 at a time. And if you feel like you're locked in, you can say you don't need to review them, just add 10 candidates to my project. But let's go ahead and review 10 more. And now we're learning from the other candidates that we said, yes, we're a good fit, and adjusting our search criteria to make even better results moving forward. So got a senior data science manager. Maybe we don't want this company either. Halliburton's also in oil and gas. Maybe we can put skills. We're not looking for oil and gas. Then I could just add that and say I want to exclude. Accept, reject. And it's pretty easy. Just go through, see which candidates look like they're a good fit. When you feel like we're completely dialed in, you can now say, I want to find 50 candidates. I don't need to review them anymore, just add them to the project. And then we'll see that in addition to the 8 candidates we selected, we're going to add an additional 50 that match our accept and reject votes and all the other criteria that we asked for. Usually if you hit a snag, just hit the refresh button, should find it. And we'll be able to add those candidates in. Do get more matches, 10. There we go. So now we have, instead of the 50, I just did 10 this time, got 23 candidates. They're all in the project. Next steps would be, again, to get the email, get phone, and reach out to those candidates to see if they'd be interested in our opportunity. So that's the agenda for the entire 101 training. We usually save about 15 to 20 minutes for Q&A at the end. As a recap, we went over the contact credits, where to find what date your credits reset each month, going through the drop-down menu to access our help center, your search history, and the Chrome extension, how to search using keywords, Boolean filters, and power filters, as well as insights to help share with hiring managers and to guide your search. Once you add them to a project, how to get their contact information and to clone those perfect candidates to add even more potential candidates to your pipeline. Thanks so much for attending, everybody. Any questions? I'm going to hang out in here in the chat. Feel free to ask. We can work through live examples, or you can feel free to hop off. But it was really nice to have you all attend and join the SeekOut 101 training. Thank you so much for your time today.